Welcome back, everyone. Let's go and do a comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S20 and the Samsung Galaxy S21 and see which specific phone you should pick up. Now, obviously, the S22 is the better one. Did I say S21? I meant S22. This phone is definitely the better one to pick up. It's pretty much the better phone in most areas, but there are still some advantages of the S20, which are actually pretty crazy. Now, I will leave both these phones linked in the description. You can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, there actually are some differences in terms of the displays. The Galaxy S20 from 2020, ironically enough, had a 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display, and it is a beautiful panel. I mean, this is a 1440p panel, 120 Hz. It's a curved panel a little bit too, and this is a higher resolution than the S22. And also, I think this panel honestly looks a little bit better in some areas. I think the S22 has a better color profile, and there's like some higher brightness or something. But the S20 is a beautiful panel, and there really isn't that crazy big of a difference in terms of the front. The Galaxy S22, on the other hand, has a little bit of a smaller 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display, and this is also 120 Hz. It's pretty much almost the same thing. No curved panel, it's flat, which some people actually prefer, but I think this panel looks great. There's really not that much to hate on it. I think it's great, it's good and everything, but I think because of the higher resolution panel, I just think the S20 is a little bit more important, but both of them are really good panels for sure. In terms of the thinness and thickness, strangely enough, the Galaxy S20 definitely felt like a little bit of a thinner device. The S20 definitely feels thicker, and that's because of the flat sides. You can see you have a complete flat side on the S20. On the S22, the S20 on the other hand has a curved side, making it feel a little bit thinner. On the back, you have a little bit of a different setup as well. We have a full-on glass back on both of them. However, the S20 is like the standard glass back, triple camera setup. The S22, on the other hand, has this frosted glass back, and without a doubt, the S22 feels and looks a lot more premium. You can tell this just straight immediately when you look at both of them. The S20 probably had one of the ugliest backs I've ever seen on one of the phones. I hate to say it, but it's completely true. I never liked the design of this. The S21 kind of fixed it, but we had a plastic back. Now the S22 has a frosted glass back, and it definitely looks 1,000,000,000% better in my opinion. So in terms of the back, I would definitely give it to the S22. However, with something like the Galaxy S20, you actually have the USB Type-C port, which is great, but you also have a microSD card slot on this phone too. That is something that we do not have on the S22, which is actually pretty crazy. We didn't even have it on the S21, but you do have that on this phone, which is really cool. But all is not perfect on the S20. This phone is not going to be lasting as long in terms of software when compared to something like the Galaxy S22. The S22 is going to be the longer lasting one between these two. I also do think the S22 feels a little bit better in the hand, but that's besides the point. Software-wise, they're both going to be supported for the time being. I think the S20 is going to be getting one more year of OS updates, maybe two more, depending if Samsung changes it up again. But this phone is getting 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security updates. So this phone's going to be lasting for a very long amount of time. Pretty much for the next 5 years, this phone's going to be relevant, which is amazing. The S20, on the other hand, probably the next 2 years, security updates here and there, 2 to 3 years, then it's pretty much immediately done, which is kind of sad, but it's kind of expected as of this point. Samsung has done a great job at expanding the software here, so I don't really even want to hate on it too much, but it is one of those things to keep in mind. So in terms of software, the S22 definitely wins, and in terms of longevity, the S22 wins as well. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The Samsung Galaxy S20 had that Qualcomm Snapdragon 865G chipset with 8 GB of RAM, where the Galaxy S22 has that newer Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside of it, also with 8 GB of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, there we go. Clearing out all the apps in the background. I hate the Samsung Pay thing, which is like right in the center. Closing out of here, closing out of here. So let's get into it. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And pretty much the same thing. I'm sorry if I have to readjust it. Messages, 3, 2, 1. I actually think the Galaxy S20 was a little bit faster there. Camera, 3, 2, 1. And that one was kind of tough too. Let's see if we can get into night mode, or if there's no night mode on the S20, which I think there was. Okay, let's just go and hop out of this one. Galaxy Store, 3, 2, 1. And I don't know what's going on with it. The S20 looked like it was faster, but this one loaded up all these other elements a little bit faster there. So I'm not really too sure what's going on there. Kind of scrolling through here. And by the way, S22 is here. The S20 is here. So keep that in mind. Play Store, 3, 2, 1. We do have to log in again here, but pretty much kind of the same thing there too. If we go and open up this Google folder, let's go and start loading these things up. Google Photos, 3, 2, 1. S22 definitely faster there. Let's go and get into Google Duo, 3, 2, 1. And I think this one loaded that one up a little bit faster, but it's still very interesting. And we can just do one more for the example. Let's do YouTube, 3, 2, 1. It may tell me to log in again, So we'll just load these apps in the background just for the fun of it. Now we have some of these third-party applications we can go and test out too a little bit. Let's do tempo run 2, 3, 2, 1. And the S22 does seem to be a little bit faster here, which is good. We want the S22 to be faster. We do not want the S20 to be faster in any means, to be honest. This is a 2-year difference. However, one thing I've been seeing is the S22 is crashing some of these applications. Very, very weird, something I don't like at all. So I'm getting into Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. S20 a little bit faster here. Still, I don't know what's going on, dude. Like, I don't want this phone to be faster, but sometimes it's the case. You know, we're spending more money on this device. It should be faster. Stack 3, 2, 1. And for some reason, I'm getting into this thing to verify myself, but we did get into the ad and everything, so we'll just hop out of that one. That one was weird. Let's go and do Snapchat, which I don't think I have here anymore. I do 3, 2, 1. S22 was faster there. Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And the S22 was faster there, thankfully. And we'll go ahead and test out one more. Let's just do, thank you, 3, 2. I don't have it here. That's so weird. And honestly, what I can tell you is that between both, I'm honestly pretty surprised how great of a job the S20 is still kind of doing for a phone that came out, in 2020. This phone is doing really well. I was not expecting this big of a difference between them, and there's a lot of similarity between these two. I will do a full speed comparison between these at some point, but honestly, I don't think it's like the S22 being way, way faster. It's actually very close between them, and sometimes the S20 was beating the S22, which is not a good thing to do at all. So that covers it up there. Let's go and hit on the cameras. Now, like I mentioned before, triple camera setups on both. The S20 had a 12 megapixel wide, 64 megapixel telephoto, then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, where the Galaxy S22 has a 50 megapixel wide angle lens, 10 megapixel telephoto lens, then a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. Now, in terms of the camera features and everything, I don't really think there's that big of a difference. I think they kind of have the same thing going on. Even if I scroll over to this more option here, and if I go and click on the more option here, you can kind of tell that there's still a lot of similarities. There may be a couple more features here and there. Samsung did team up with, Instagram, TikTok, and I think Snapchat to actually give you better quality photos and videos, which is really cool. But I will tell you, something like the Galaxy S20's camera has always been really good. I've had a really good experience with this type of camera. That ultra-wide sensor is really nice. The ability of zooming in all the way is really nice too. 8K capability, 4K 60 on the front. This is a very solid camera for sure. The Galaxy S22, on the other hand, I'm sure it's going to be the better camera. Once I go ahead and do my full camera test, I'm sure there's going to be bigger differences, but I generally don't think it's going to be like a crazy big difference between them. Like, I think the Galaxy S22's camera is going to be better, but again, you would be very, surprised to see the differences and the similarities between both these cameras for sure. Now, I will do a full camera comparison, but I do want to hit on the battery life as well. The Galaxy S20 had a 4,000 mAh battery. The newer, 2-year newer S22 has a smaller size battery than this one. Makes absolutely no sense. 3,700 mAh here, 4,000 mAh here, and I do think Samsung could have done a better job. It's very sad that they did that. I hope they do a better job in the future, but in terms of the battery life and everything, I will probably give it to the S20 for having a bigger size battery. If you're talking like degradation and everything, it's a little bit different, but honestly, I like the S22. I think this is a great phone. I don't think it's as impactful of a phone as the Galaxy S20. This was a great phone. This was a beautiful phone. It had a ton of capability. SD card still in this phone, 1440p panel, beautiful display, whole bunch display, bigger battery size. The speed difference is really weird to me because the S22 doesn't really seem to be any faster than the S20 really that much. Sometimes the S20 is beating this phone too. I do think the Galaxy S22 is a great phone, but I honestly wouldn't go from an S20 to the S22 unless you want to get a phone that's going to last you many years. But I do think the S23 is probably going to fix a lot of what the S22's problems are. So I'd probably just recommend waiting for that phone, to be honest, but that pretty much covers it up. Like I mentioned, if you want to pick these phones up, links are down in the description. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.